able to retire, but then passed away immediately after he retired. And really the focus of what I've been shifting my life to, and what I'm hoping we can help people shift their life to, is not this idea of, again, I'll rephrase the quote that I said to you, and I hate this quote. Everybody used to love this quote. It was, if you live today like nobody will, you can live tomorrow like nobody can. I understand the premise behind it, which is, if you'll work your guts out today and save and save and save and save and do nothing fun today, when you retire, you can live like nobody else can. Man, I just think that is a flawed view of life. I would say, why don't you live today that's going to bring purpose to you and your family, so that as you continue to live your life, you can continue to live purpose with your family and bring value, instead of holding everything in, instead of being so limited in your mindset right now and scarcity mindset right now, that I'm waiting until I retire to be able to share those moments with my family. Because let's face it, once we retire, listen, I'm 40 right now, and I wake up and my bones ache and my joints ache. I can't imagine what I'm going to feel like when I'm 70, right? When I retire. So I'm not going to be want to walk in 14 miles a day with my wife in France. I want to do it right now. Okay. So that was the first part of the mindset, was live with purpose every day. Today, I want to continue on that mindset, because living with purpose every day means you've got to do it every single day. Okay. I just started this new program. It's called 75 Hard. How many of you have ever heard of 75 Hard? Okay, only a couple of you. It's a really interesting program. So it's 75 days where you're kind of rewriting your mindset, and you're really rewriting your habits and rewriting your eating habits and your sleeping habits and things like that. But basically, 75 Hard is every single day for 75 days, you have to do a few things. You have to drink a gallon of water, which is crazy. I've never peed more in my life than I have on this first week of 75 Hard, right? I didn't know how dehydrated I was, but I was extremely dehydrated. You have to drink a gallon of water. You have to work out twice, one inside, one outside. You have to be on an eating program. You have to read at least 10 pages of a nonfiction book. You've got to do some sort of mindset training, and it's every single day. And if you miss a day, you have to start over. So you could be at day 63, and if you miss your 10 pages of reading, if you read 9 pages, you have to start over. Okay. Well, there's this thing that I'm learning about living a life of purpose, which is you've got to get in the habit of making it a priority every single day. Doing something with your family. I think we get so locked up into, I have a niece who lives with me now. Love her to death. She's awesome, but she's moved in from Wyoming. She's going to school here. And she's not working right now, and she's in summer months. And she sat on her phone one day, and I timed it. I wanted to say, how long is she going to sit on her phone? It was 13 hours. 13 hours. And I went, and I saw it. So I finally pulled her aside and I said, sweetie, you have gone an entire week where you haven't left the house. You were 13 hours on your phone yesterday. I'm not your dad. I'm not going to tell you what you can and can't do, what you have to do, but that is unhealthy, right? You've got to live with purpose. You got to go out and do something. And so I know for us every day, it can be so easy to fall into the, I'm just kind of tired right now. I'm going to sit on my phone. I'm just going to hang out. That's not purpose, right? This 75 Hard is teaching me that we have to do hard things every single day to be able to bring purpose to our family. I intentionally take my son out every single evening to go play baseball. We've got this indoor facility we go to. I've coached him for baseball for years. This is the last year because he's going into high school. I won't be able to coach him, right? So I'm intentionally going out and doing those things, so I'm living and bringing purpose in his life and in my life. Well, that leads into today's conversation, which is it gets hard to do things that are good for us, right? It gets hard to do business. It gets hard to build family relationships. I mean, it gets hard to make sure you're calling your parents, make sure you're calling your kids and your siblings to create those relationships, because sometimes we just don't want to do it. That's where this talk comes in. So, and I don't have many, I'm actually not going to, I had a couple slides. I'm not going to share them. They're not important. So I just want to talk to you face to face today. And I hope you take some notes on this. Something interesting has happened. So during the 75 hard, I've started working out again. Okay, I've always worked out kind of, but never like really consistently. And I'm getting real consistent. And I've noticed something interesting happening as I'm working out. And I think you may have experienced this. If you've experienced it, I want you to put a note in the notes there. Mustafa, it's 75 days hard, 75 hard, H-A-R-D, 75 hard. You can look it up online too. But I've noticed as I'm working out, as I'm running, or as I'm, let's say, lifting weights. So I do 3 sets of 12 when I'm lifting weights on any movement that I do. And yesterday, well, actually a couple of days ago, as I was lifting, I did my first 2 sets, did them perfectly, got through 12, no problem. And on my last set, I said this to myself before I lifted, if I can just get to 5, that's going to be great. And guess what happened? As I got to number 4, my muscles failed. Boom. I couldn't get to 5. And I was like, that is so strange. How come at 5 I failed when I was doing 12? And so I sat for a second and I waited about 2 minutes to let my muscles recover. And I said, you know what? No, I'm going to do all 12. Next set, I did every single rep. I did 12 reps. And I thought that is really, really strange. Why is it that when I put a limitation on myself and said, if I can just get to 5, why is it that I failed at 4? So I started studying this a little bit. And what I've come up with on this, and I think you guys can appreciate this, is as we set a limitation, that's when our minds turn into survival mode. If I can just get to here, then our minds switch from enjoying the process or focusing on the process to focusing on the finish line. Okay, here's quote number 2 that I hate. Number 1 was, I'll repeat it for you, live today like nobody will, so you can live tomorrow like nobody can. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. I'm going to come up with a list of my 10 most hated quotes. You're going to love it. My second one is focus on the finish line. If you look at any mindset, there's a bunch of mindset trainings out there that are focus on the finish line. Just focus on the finish line. Nope, that's my second most hated quote. Focus on the finish line. How about focus on the process? Focus on what's happening. Don't limit yourself. Exactly. Because what happens is if you go running, I guarantee it, you run 10 miles and the last quarter mile, when you're focusing on the finish line, your brain's automatically going to move into, I just have to finish. And then you start failing. And then your body, it's incredible what your mind will do. So how does that translate into business for us? Any ideas? I want to open this up to the notes there. How does this translate into business? Right? Now, once you think about the end of your run or end of your workout, reaching the end or focusing on the finish, you start focusing on the pain. You ever notice that? Start focusing on my muscles are getting sore, my legs are getting sore. How does that translate into business? What do we start focusing on? Let's look at some of the notes here. And I've got a few ideas too. Okay, we're focusing on the process, not the finish. Have you ever gone into a day where you're like, I just have to get 10 calls? I just got to do 10 calls, right? And how hard is that when you get to call 7, 8, and 9? What does our mindset change to? Instead of enjoying the process and doing what we've got to do, we focus on, I just got to get these 3 calls done. So sometimes do those 3 calls go down in quality? Sometimes are you happy if you get a voicemail instead of somebody answering? Because I made the call, they didn't answer, right? 75 hard. I have to read 10 pages a day. And I notice, and I'm changing my mindset on this, as I get to page 6 or 7, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to it's midnight and I'm tired. So I read through and I don't remember anything that I read. Right? The last 4 pages, I'm like, well, that was a waste. I might as well start those over. Okay. So it's focusing on the process. How does that join into business? We just talked about it, right? you have to enjoy the process of business, the process of learning, the process of doing things. Take your time and enjoy the moment, right? And instead of focusing on the finish line, focus on the process. Concentrate to get the steps and things done and do them correctly. I like that, Suzanne. Very, very good. How does that tie into living a life of purpose? Well, so many times in our life, we have so many things in our schedule that we just have to get done, right? Just got to get good, just got to get done. And so we end up getting into this survival mindset and we end up wanting to quit. Okay. I want to talk to you a little bit about the quitting mindset too, because that's an interesting one. Hey, Mustafa, I like that. Don't focus on the finish line. Focus on making it playful, make it fun. And that's another thing that you need to also understand too. If the things that you're doing on a daily basis, you're not drawing some form of enjoyment from, what are we doing? You can make money doing anything, right? I can make money mowing lawns. I can make money scrubbing toilets. I can make money doing this. You can make money anywhere. Might as well do it doing something you enjoy, right? I'm going to spend time with my family. I'm going to do it. I love what we see and what we're seeing out there right now. Our brand partners, they're working and doing the business at the same time because they're mixing that life, right? I think it's absolutely great. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about too is this idea of enjoying the ride and not giving up. Okay. How do you guys, and I want to get you some ideas in here in the notes. How do you focus on moving from I just have to get the task done to I actually enjoy the ride? What have you done in your business to do that? I'm going to give you a few minutes to type some notes in here. So the question is, I'll type the notes in here. What have you done to move from focusing on just finishing to enjoying the ride? Okay, make it simple. Love that. Make it simple enough that it's enjoyable, right? And they're not crazy complex tasks. Lizelle, let's look at yours. I love this. You gave every family member in the house to keep me accountable for something and then make it fun. How do you do that? Lizelle, unmute here for a second. How do you do that? Let's see if I can ask you to unmute here real quick. I'm going to go back here to people. Lizelle, there we go. Ask to unmute. Gotcha.
Hi, Cameron. Thank you. Blessing everyone for Partner Council for the opportunity. I realized that that was a need for me in the beginning because a year ago it was a complete lifestyle. When Partner Co say 360, they really mean 360. But because my nature was always a fast starter, I start things on a high and then I grow weary and I lost the plot. But the difference between then and now is the personal development, the team, the system that you lean on. So I'm almost never without inspiration and so on. But important for me was, who are you in Partner Co when nobody sees you? Like when you have the ability to cheat and you can just not work your business and all of that. Sorry, Lamar, put on the light, please. So I have a special needs. He is very in your face, always nagging, so on. So he was responsible for the water. So he will bring water, and he took it as a job. He's 16. He enjoyed it. He got a kick out of it. So that's why I got into the habit. Now he doesn't need to do that anymore because now I am in the habit. And then my other son with the exercising, the 10, and then obviously my husband with certain things. So it just helped for me. I figured out, but as I'm growing, I can now make them accountable for other things. Like today, we just started our 20-day 90, no sugar fast, no sugar for the family. And I'm challenging other families, to add some value and so on. So they're coming along, but the accountability also involves them. And then they see and then they want to partake, especially the boys. Thank you, Cameron.
Awesome. Thank you, Lizelle. I love what you're saying there. Create an accountability partner, right? Create somebody that's going to help you, keep you focused along the way, right? I love that. Absolutely. Focus on helping others and adding value as well. Have a task tracker. Challenge yourself to do more better than the last task you did. Turn it into a game, right? Enjoy the process. Focus on what's important. Keep it simple. I agree with all of those, and I want to suggest one thing to you too today, which is you're stronger than you think you are too. Because it's the mindset as we grow weary doing these things, we have to enjoy the process. We have to make sure that we're doing things that bring us value and are fun and it's not just a task to get the task done, but we're gaining something from it too. But the second piece of this mindset is also that you're stronger than you think that you are. I was watching a video the other day trying to get some ideas on some of these talks, and this lady was going up to, I think she was talking to either Tony Robbins or Gary Vee, one of them. She says, you know what? One day I'm going to be somebody. One day I'm going to be somebody. And he looked at her and went, darling, you're somebody right now. You're somebody right now. Why do you think that someday it's going to be someday? You are somebody right now. And he said, it wasn't until I realized that I was somebody. It just took a little bit for other people to realize it. He said, it's not, other people don't get to determine if you're somebody. You are somebody now, and you're stronger than you believe. This is the second piece of the equation of living a life of value, living a life of purpose every single day, is this idea of you're stronger than you think and you can't give up. Okay? Because 75 hard, I'm only 5 days into it, and I know at day 17, I'm going to go, I don't have time to do all this. I'm tired. I don't like drinking this much water. I want a donut, right? I want to do something. You can't give up. And I want to share a story with you that was really impactful for me. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to kind of go through that. So here's the mindset is every one of us has times when we know that things will get better, right? But my declaration to you is that the way that we choose to think about our challenges and the things that we're going through is going to define our ability to make things better. Okay? So if I go into a mindset of 75 hard, knowing that it's going to be the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life, guess what? It's going to be the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life. And I'm going to want to quit. So how do we overcome this desire to quit, desire to give up? Well, it's the way we choose to think about the challenge. So number one, in your mindset, Winston Churchill gave a really great quote. I can't remember exactly what it is, but basically the premise of it is nothing great lasts forever and nothing bad lasts forever. We're always changing. We're always moving, right? So that mindset of, hey, today's great. You know what? I might have a challenge tomorrow, and that's okay. Accept it. Or today I'm going through a major challenge. You know what? It's not going to last forever. And accept it. You have to move through it. That's number one. I want to share you a story about an acquaintance that I had, and he was telling this story, and I thought it was really, really interesting. So this is what he said. He said, 30 years ago last month, my little family set out to cross the United States with every earthly possession they owned packed into a small trailer behind a car. They had no money, an old car, and they drove exactly 34 miles up the highway, 15 kilometers, right? At which point their beleaguered little car exploded, blew up, smoke coming everywhere. The young father looked at the car, surveyed the steam coming out of the car, matched it with his own steam coming out of his ears. And then he left his trusting wife and two little kids in the car while he walked to the next town about 3 miles to a place called Canaryville, and the population was only 65 people. When he got there, he got some water in a bucket. A very kind person in the town offered to drive him back to his car. He put the water in the car, and then the car was very, very slowly and carefully driven back 3 miles to St. George for inspection. Okay. Now, when they looked at the car, they checked it, rechecked it. No immediate problems could be found. So once again, the father was like, okay, maybe it just needed some water in the car. So he got back in his car, and the journey was started again. In exactly the same amount of time, at exactly the same spot on the road with the exact same fire and smoke coming out of the car exploded again. That father, now feeling more foolish than angry, left his family again on the side of the road and started walking for help. This time, the guy who gave him the water said, either you or a guy that looks exactly like you needs to get a new radiator for that car. Needs to get a new car. My friend, the guy I know, he said he didn't know whether to laugh or to cry at this point. So the guy who was helping him asked him, said, how far have you come? He said, well, I've driven 34 miles. He said, how much farther do you have to go? He says, I still have 2,600 miles to go. The guy said to him, well, you might make that trip, and your wife and those little kitties might make that trip, but none of you are going to make that trip in that car. A couple months ago, as he was telling the story, he said, I drove by that exact spot 33 years later. And for an instant, I thought perhaps I saw on the side of the road an old car with a devoted father, a young wife, 2 little children. And just ahead of them, I imagined that I saw a young man walking on the road towards Canaryville, the weight of the world on his shoulders, trying to get some water for his car. And in that instant, I couldn't help calling out to him, don't you quit. You keep walking. You keep trying. There is help and there is happiness ahead. Some good things come soon, some come late, and some don't come until long after we're gone. And this is what he said that was really poignant. He said, but for those who keep the right mindset and keep going, it will be all right in the end. You have to trust, believe in good things to come, and keep the mindset that you can do it. You're stronger than you think that you are. I want you to think about yourself in that situation. We've all been in those situations where our family's dependent on us. A loved one's dependent on us. And we have the weight on of the world on our shoulders. And sometimes we just feel like, it's too much. Right? Think about what you would say to yourself 32 years down the road. You can do it. You've got this. Keep going. Good things are in the future and good things will come. Some will come now. Some will come later. And some may not come until you're gone, but it's going to bless your family. Be optimistic, yes, about what good will come. That's the second piece of this mindset right here. Guys, when we live a life of purpose every single day, it's not easy. It is easy for us to duck away and to hide behind our phones and to just say, you know what? I'm going to work and work and work because that's what I know how to do right now. And then when I retire, then I'll focus on the family. Then I'll focus on living a life of purpose. It's an excuse because it's hard to do. Every day you need to take time to focus on and create a plan of how you're going to enjoy the process, live a life of purpose, but more importantly, have a mindset of not giving up. If you will change your mindset right now and focus on living that life of purpose and focusing on not giving up and realizing that good things will come. Some days are going to be good. Some days are not going to be great, but enjoy the process because realizing that going through days that aren't great makes you stronger. that makes you better, that's where the success comes from. That's where the mindset is. I'm going to go to the notes here. We got some great notes coming through. Be optimistic and good will come and you'll realize it. Be excited about the future version of yourself. Yes, goodness will follow us. Enjoy the process. Remain, don't give up. Personal growth and enjoy now the process. Never give it up. It's on the way. Be obsessed about your belief. I absolutely love it. I love the mindset, right? Business isn't easy. Being a dad's not easy. Being a mom's not easy. Being a spouse isn't easy. But man, it's worth it. If you do it right, and if you focus on the right mindset of, again, I want to repeat this, not focusing on the finish line, not focusing on when I retire, which is a finish line, then I'm going to do good things. Or when the day is done, oh, I can finally rest. Or when the weekend's here, oh, I can finally rest. How many of you have ever heard of the term Sunday scaries? It's my favorite term. Sunday scaries is when it's Sunday and you realize, oh man, tomorrow's Monday. I got to go back to work. I have a lot of friends who have Sunday scaries, right? And then it just ruins their entire Sunday. I don't have Sunday scaries. I used to. Long time ago, I used to have Sunday scaries, but I've changed my mindset to every day is a day that I can make an impact. And every day is a day that maybe something's going to go great. Maybe something's not going to go great, but that's okay. I can't control that. What I can control is my reaction to it, my belief, my attitude, and my mindset. And I'm going to enjoy the process every single step of the way through. That's what we have today. It's a quick 30-minute mindset. I hope you'll take these things and I hope they make some impact for you, because I at least know they're making an impact in my life and they've been an impact in my family's life. I'm going to keep sharing them. I hope they make an impact in your life too and help you with this mindset of ultimately the goal for us is not to get to some arbitrary finish line, right? Because we don't know when our finish line comes. It could come sooner, it could come later. It could be 115. Who knows? You could be 137 and be the oldest person to ever live, right? That's a long finish line. You might as well enjoy the process as you're going through. We love you all. We think you're amazing. This is such a fun company to work at, Partner Co. We truly are in the partnership business here and helping you, hoping that not only are you getting good value for your business, you're making some good money, you're able to travel, we're your wellness partner, you're a travel partner. We also want to be your mindset partner here too. Give you some value and hopefully give small nuggets that are going to make us have a little bit of an impact, because quite frankly, a small group, if we go out together and share the same message, can have a huge ripple effect on the planet. And right now, more than anything, I think we're so divisive in this world. We need to come together and be kinder to each other, show more love to each other. But I think that we need to have more belief in goodness of people and that good things are to come. So I'm hoping we can share that. So my wish for you is that this does some great things for you, but more than anything, you can share mindset nuggets with people and help them change their perspective, because we need more goodness in this world and you are the best people to do it. So thank you, everybody. Have an amazing rest of your June 27th. What a beautiful day. I don't know where you are in the world exactly, but I hope you've got some good weather or having some good things or having some good time with your family. And we will see you all next time. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much, Cam. Thank you, Team Africa. It's been an exciting evening. Let's just go out there and live an impactful life. And it starts with you, and myself. Thank you, Cam.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you so much, Cami. Thank you so much, Blessing, Nick, everybody.
Thank you
on the
very
call.
much.
It's been amazing. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Cameron.
Thank you.
Awesome
Thank you very
nuggets.
much. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
God bless you. Appreciate you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
All right, team. Have a good evening. Good night, Neil. Bye.